All right, so moving on to the final segment, we're going to pivot here to the world of wrestling, and I'll be sharing my WWE Saturday night's main event predictions. So there are a total of 4 matches that have been announced for the card. I believe we're probably going to see a women's match be announced officially, whether it's on Raw or SmackDown later on in the week. But I'll be going over the 4 matches that are already slated to take place at the Saturday night's main event. Starting off with match number 1, John Cena, the WWE Champion John Cena versus R-Truth. This would be a non-title match, but I'll be sharing my prediction for this match. I do like the idea that John Cena has pitched the idea to work with R-Truth during his farewell tour. That might not sit well for a lot of people, but you guys got to remember how underrated the rivalry between John Cena and R-Truth was in the summer of 2011. Mind you, heel R-Truth was brought into the light, into the main event scene, being more highlighted than ever when he was feuding with John Cena for the WWE title in the summer of 2011, when R-Truth had the little Jimmy gimmick. And this is coming full circle because years and years removed from that feud, now R-Truth views John Cena as his childhood hero, which logically does not make sense because R-Truth is actually older than John Cena. I think he's got him in the age bracket by at least 2 to 3 years, which makes it even more hilarious. So this is good storytelling here. But R-Truth did assist John Cena to retain his WWE Championship when he was in the match against Randy Orton. Remember, he slid into the ring and saved John Cena for getting his head getting punted off of his shoulders and off his neck. And R-Truth took the RKO for Randy Orton, which led to John Cena cheating to retain his WWE title in the main event of Backlash. Now, after the PLE ended, R-Truth confronted John Cena at the presser, which led to John Cena hitting the AA on R-Truth, putting him through a table during the WWE press conferences. So now, this is a great match that we're going to see. The only thing that's missing is this is a non-WWE title match. I think R-Truth should have got a WWE title shot to make this more dramatic, to see if he could pull off the upset of the century. But I think it'll be a good match. I think John Cena is going to put away R-Truth by cheating. But R-Truth could hit a button here to possibly lead to John Cena having a babyface turn once again, bringing the old John Cena of old of hustle, loyalty, respect. So this is going to be an interesting bout that we see Saturday night between Cena and Truth. I'm actually looking forward to it. Next match, you will be seeing Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest in a steel cage match. Now, this is actually a very underrated rivalry that's taking place on the Blue brand of Friday Night SmackDown between Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. This rivalry and the story between these two respective wrestlers have been going on for well over a year at this point, with Damian Priest cashing in his Money in the Bank contract on Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania 40, Damian Priest defeating Drew McIntyre at Clash at the Castle, and Drew McIntyre's home turf of the UK retaining the World Heavyweight title. Then Drew McIntyre unsuccessfully cashing in the Money in the Bank contract on Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins in the triple threat match of Money in the Bank. Then Damian Priest eliminated Drew McIntyre from the Royal Rumble and the Elimination Chamber. And then Drew McIntyre defeated Damian Priest at WrestleMania 41, Night 2. So, we have gone a long way. It's been a long stretch between Priest and McIntyre, two wrestlers that have been tied together for over 12 months. So, I think this is going to be a good match, and this could be a good way to officially end the rivalry in the steel cage. I think there'll be a great match that could possibly steal the show. I think Drew McIntyre needs to win this match more here than Damian Priest. He needs to go over and insert Drew McIntyre properly back into the main event scene, with Drew McIntyre desperately wanting his hands on the WWE title to become a world champion longer than 5 minutes once again. But I think that's going to be one hell of a match. Next match, you'll see Jey Uso defend the World Heavyweight Championship against Logan Paul. Now, a lot of people are not fond of this match, but I like to disagree on that, because Jey Uso and Logan Paul are not two scrubs in that wrestling ring. I don't give a damn what you guys say. Jey Uso, he is one of the most over wrestlers in the entire company today, and he could go in the ring. Where was all this talk when he was the right hand man of Roman Reigns? He was wrestling the same way then. Why is it a problem when he becomes a world champion? Not everybody disliked Jey Uso when he was the Intercontinental Champion. He was wrestling the same way. So why is it a problem when these wrestlers become world champions and they're not the world champions that you guys don't like? and we're supposed to turn our backs on Jay, I'm riding with Jey Uso, and I think he's still one hell of a wrestler. Meanwhile, with Logan Paul, I don't understand why people dislike this man so much. I know that him and his brother Jake Paul can be some of the most aggravating people, and they love to antagonize people. But for Logan Paul's sake, you gotta give him his credit, because the man can go in the ring, and I will take Logan Paul's in-ring abilities over half of the WWE wrestlers that are on the main roster. And that's speaking volumes for somebody that just got his feet wet into the business and has only been in the business for the last 3 years. So I think Logan Paul is one hell of a wrestler. But I do like the rivalry, how the rivalry is going so far, with Jey Uso believing that Logan Paul is not fit for the WWE, calling him a YouTuber. And meanwhile, Logan Paul believing that Jey Uso is not fit to be a world champion, believing that he's not world championship material. So I think this is going to be a fun match with some good spots. This is going to be some good wrestling, in-ring action. But I think Jey Uso is going to retain the World Heavyweight Championship against Logan Paul, because the rematch that is going to happen June 9th on the edition of Raw between Jey Uso and Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship, that just screams WrestleMania rematch vibes to me. I don't think Logan Paul needs to be a part of it. I think we need to see a proper rematch between Jey Uso and Gunther for the World Heavyweight title on June 9th. The Raw after Money in the Bank. So possibly, somebody could possibly cash in on Jey Uso and Gunther for the World Heavyweight title. And last but not least, this match will probably main event the show. It'll be CM Punk and Sami Zayn teaming up to take on Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker in tag team action. Now, I will say, I love this heel turn from Seth Rollins. It was very unpredictable. I personally saw the heel turn coming at WrestleMania in the triple threat match between CM Punk and Roman Reigns. If you guys go back on the podcast and look at my WrestleMania 41 Night 1 predictions, I said that Seth Rollins somehow, some way was going to win the match and walk out with Paul Heyman having a diabolical heel turn. And it happened, and they never looked back. This has been great. This pairing between Rollins and Heyman feels fresh. And then the Raw after WrestleMania made this feel even more breathtaking, with Braun Breaker taking out Roman Reigns and CM Punk. They have got the next big thing in the company to align themselves with Rollins and Heyman, which is great for business. So now it's Punk trying to take out Seth Rollins. They're basically continuing over their rivalry, but now Paul Heyman's in the mix, and he wants to take out Seth Rollins, the group of Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Paul Heyman. Now he's got Sami Zayn by his side. I think this should be a fun tag team match. But if you guys have followed Raw, with Jey Uso also siding with Punk and Zayn, I think Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker know they're outnumbered, which will lead to Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker winning the match. I think they got to win the match. They can't lose, because they'll lose their credibility very quickly, in my opinion, if they lose this tag match. But a third member will be added to the group. I think that's going to be the reason why Rollins and Breaker win the match, being assisted with the victory. Some names to look out for: possibly Austin Theory, Ethan Page, or Drew McIntyre will eventually join this faction. But I think it happens as early as Saturday night's main event to help Rollins and Breaker win the tag team match. But that is all the time I have for you guys today. That is everything that I have for this segment. And that is all the time I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This is your host, Thomas Tyree, signing off. And I'll see you guys on next week's episode.